Happy Monday. Hi, Annie. So we're here today to say hello to everybody and wish them a happy autumn. And my God, we're already thinking about the holidays. And I'm just back from an amazing class I just did in Pittsburgh. And I'm on my way this weekend to teach in New Jersey. So packed classes to learn more about Beauty Fusion and more about the subject is hair color. Whether you are new at this, whether you're just learning, whether you're advanced, there's always new stuff coming about this incredible thing we do called coloring hair. And today I think we're going to talk primarily about the lion's share of the business, which is the oldest real part of our business since, I guess, the 1930s, and that's permanent hair color. So I want to go, I guess the best way to just very quickly introduce this is that, you know, years ago in the early 1900s, there were people who were coloring their hair, particularly in Europe, for one reason, and that is to cover gray hair. And in the early 1900s, wealthy people who would travel to Paris and to other centers in Europe would say, why do the women in Europe look, this is very sexist, but here we go, folks. Why do the women in Europe look younger than the women in America? And the answer was, they don't have any gray hair. That was one of the answers. And a lot of women in America did not feel comfortable wearing cosmetics, lip color, foundation, eye color. So women were called women who painted, and quietly and privately, they would color their hair, and they would, if they went to a salon, they would put in a private room with a door closed, and it was put on with a Q-tip or a brush, and there was no permanent color, everyone. It was covering gray. So direct dyes like black, believe it or light black, whatever that is, dark brown, brown, and blonde, which was the yellow color, direct dyes were applied to their hair. Sometimes before that was done, the colorist would apply ammonia mixed with soap flakes and peroxide to lighten some of the dark hair first. Then they would, it was very harsh, then they would rinse it, and they would say they were giving the woman an egg shampoo with an egg in the shampoo. They would dry that, and then they'd apply these direct dyes. There was a guy named Mr. Scheller who started the company L'Oreal, and he was met by a man named Mr. Gelb, who started the company called Clairol years later, who came up in his bedroom in a closet in a chemical lab with this, and you can read it in a book called The Betancourt Affair. It's available on Amazon, and I show it at all my classes. He came up with a way, he said, why can't I do something that would be alkaline enough to penetrate the cuticle, penetrate the cortex, and then once the color was in, these little molecules were inside the cortex, with the oxidation process, which is peroxide, they would swell up and stay stuck in the cortex. And then after the color developed in 30 to 45 minutes, or sometimes an hour, he would rinse this out of the lady's hair, give her another egg shampoo, and then they would set the hair in whatever their waves or their, and that is how hair color came to the world. And that was paraphenyldiamine, ammonia, pigment, which is not water soluble, dye, which is water soluble. And at the very beginning, guys, there were like 4 colors of color, you know, black, light black, brown, and like this yellow. And for those theatrical people who wanted to be red, they would mix mostly yellow with a little brown, warm brown, but that's the beginning. And here we are today with things like Beauty Fusion and Its Color and Wella Colestone Perfect and Redken Color Fusion and Schwartz and everybody, Miss Clairol and Mr. Clairol and every brand in the world and Davinas. And here we are. And here we are with your choice of what you use as permanent color. And the reason I use permanent color today is when I want to do several things. It used to be true 35 years ago that if you wanted to cover gray 100%, your only choice was permanent dye. And for many of you, that is still true. And for many of you for whom that is still true, fine, go ahead and do that. I use permanent color, yes, when I want to cover gray, but I'm also thinking about the hair in the head that has not yet turned gray. Because let's supposing a woman or a gentleman has 50% gray and 50% of the hair has not turned gray yet. Well, that's like they're walking around with two heads of hair at the same time. They're walking around with the gray hair, but what about the pigmented hair? So let you and I both know, if we say, oh, that woman who has 50% gray and 50% brown wants to be blonde, I know what we're going to do. We're going to find a medium blonde color of permanent dye. We're going to mix it with the dedicated developer the company tells me to mix it with. We're going to stick it on her head and set the timer. Okay, you're doing it. You do a beautiful application. The lady has her tea or coffee, a recent magazine. She's relaxed. She's listening to music or she's on her phone, whatever. The timer goes off. You take her to the sink. You carefully rinse, shampoo, and condition the hair. And well, the gray hair has indeed turned medium blonde. But the hair that's still brown, is orange. Because we were considering the gray hair. Color, if it says medium brown, means that it will color gray hair to medium brown. Color, if it says dark blonde, will cover the gray hair to dark blonde. But what about the pigmented hair? That is why when I use permanent dye, not only do I want to cover gray, I want to lighten with control the hair in the head that has still not turned gray. I hope everybody's with me so far. Annie, are there any questions on this so far, or are we still okay?
We're still okay.
Okay. So now when we're analyzing this hair and we're combing through at the beginning of the visit, I first brush the hair very gently, and then I part the hair straight down the center in the front of the head all the way down the back. And I basically separate the head into two big sections, left and right. And I examine how much gray is there. If there's a whole bunch of gray, that's kind of a good thing. Most cases, you might have a lot of gray in the front and hardly any in the back, or you have hair that's scattered, salt and gray with some color. Maybe she's naturally red with gray, naturally dark blonde with gray. That's pretty easy. And also brown with gray. So what do we have to do? And when people ask me, Annie, they ask me all the time, I want to cover her gray. What do I do? I say to them, please tell me if there is any hair in the head that is not yet gray. And they'll say, oh, yeah, she has a lot of brown. I said, well, that's part of the question. Because we have to address both the gray hair and the hair that did not yet turn gray, right? Okay. I wish I had a day with you. And in my all-day classes that are coming up, we take an hour and a half just to discuss this. We have to think, if the hair is gray? Yeah, what percentage of the hair is gray? And that second important question, what is the current color of the hair that has not yet turned gray? And the third question is, and what does this client expect us to do today? Very important. Now, here's how I formulate color, and I was taught to formulate color, and it is very different from those of you who learned the matrix way, which was introduced about 35 years ago, which was about developer volume. When you test hair color proficiency in a laboratory with a chemist, here's what they do. They use the swatches that the Beecher Group has generously provided to me for my classes. And these swatches are human hair that has not been exposed to formaldehyde. These are very expensive, and they come from international hair importers in a part of the Bronx called Glendale, New York. We use very high percentages of white hair mixed with pigmented. Okay, guys, here's how a chemist analyzes color. These chemists have access to 100% human hair that is all white. When they apply a permanent hair color shade, any shade, mixed with 20 volume developer, and allow it to process for 45 minutes at room temperature, The assistant rinses, shampoos, conditions, and blows dry and irons the hair. The chemist will then say, I applied a level 5 lightest brown formula to this hair, and I properly processed it. Is this hair level 5, this white hair? If the answer is yes, the company says that color is level 5 lightest brown because it covered gray to lightest brown. But let's supposing the hair that's not gray is level 2, dark brown. Well, that dark brown hair is not going to turn level 5. It's going to lighten, but how much is it going to lighten? And here is how, and I don't want to confuse you, but those of you who've been following me for years know how to do this. You write down in your head, what is the current level of this hair that still didn't turn gray? It is level 2, dark brown. I'm going to apply a formula level 5 to it, lightest brown. So you have level 2 hair, you're applying a level 5. Now, add these two numbers together. 2 plus 5 is 7. Divide 7 by 2, and you're going to get 3.5. The brown hair will turn between a level 3 and 4, which is medium and light brown. Not bad, because you're going to have hair that's level 5, the white hair, mixed with the 4-5. It'll look like she has brown on brown, softly highlighted hair. If she wants to be darker than that, you know to use a shade of level. If she wants to be a 3, use a level 3. If she wants to be a level 4, use a level 4. If you want to introduce a little brightness to the hair, use something slightly lighter than the hair that has not yet turned gray. Do not think that if you apply a blonde shade to a brunette who has some gray, that she's going to be a beautiful blonde unless you say, oh my God in heaven, make the sign of the cross, put blindfold on her, dry her hair, and highlight the living hell out of it, and it's still not going to be right. It'll be okay. But that is when people ask, Annie, people ask me all the time, oh, that color you posted is great. What did you use? Very few of them say, what color did you start with?
Right.
So are we still on target, everybody? Anybody have a question?
Yes. Here's the first one from Shelley. Says,
Hi,
I
Shelley.
think I remember you saying never use permanent color to refresh ends.
Right.
Someone is coming to you for the first time, comes in with old faded color from a previous stylist, has roots with gray coming through her old color. What do you use to pull color through their ends?
Okay. The words pull through, no. The way I have gained my reputation, and by the way, anything you do to feel happy is your professional situation. Here's what I do. You're a professional, you look at those roots and you know what to do to cover that gray and to create the brown you want. Now, I love to use Beauty Fusion Phyto Tech color, and in the past I've used other acidic liquid demi colors because they don't have any ammonia or any ability to lighten the hair. They gently put tone back into the hair with tremendous shine and beautiful color that does not fade. I would choose a Beauty Fusion shade that is, okay, if I want the final level to be a 4, which is light brown, I would refresh her ends with a demi-liquid acidic like Beauty Fusion at level 6. If I wanted her to be an icy cool brunette with no warmth, I might use 6.11 Beauty Fusion, which is a double ash shade mixed with our 5-volume oxy milk. And all you need is an ounce of the color and an ounce of 5-volume oxy milk to bring through those ends for the last 10 minutes. Will the hair darken? A tiny bit, and it'll banish unwanted warmth. Supposing, though, she wants to be more of a cinnamon light brownette with warm tones, and I use this all the time, Annie. I teach this all the time. I would still use a level 6 in Beauty Fusion, but I would use 6.34, which is our level 6 golden copper. Don't worry, it's not going to make her a redhead. It will infuse beautiful golden, soft, little warmth, like a maple color, into those ends. Last 10 minutes while the permanent color is still on her roots. If you choose, you can also take off the permanent color and apply the Beauty Fusion after you've shampooed her and toweled her dry roots to ends and let it process 10 minutes. That's up to you. So if I'm thinking about changing and I do brunettes, I'd buy 2 shades at one time. I'd only buy 2 shades. I'd buy the 611 and the 634 for my brunettes. Either she's going to be a cool brunette or a warm brunette. Problem solved. Problem solved. If she wants to be a blonde with no warmth, and you've done her blonde roots, for the last 10 minutes, I would use Beauty Fusion 9.11, which is a very light, sheer, pale blonde that kills warmth. Believe it or not, if she wanted to be a beautiful blonde with the sheerest touch of golden warmth, but like corn silk, not like a yellow taxi cab or school bus, but the soft, I would use Beauty Fusion 12G or 12.3. So now you have 911 for blondes, cool, and 12G for blondes, warm. I've just given you 4 important shades. Now I'm going to add a 5th for all those of us who want to be redheads, and that is Beauty Fusion 7.44, our level 7 double copper mixed with 5 volume. When you're beginning to learn how to refresh hair with demi-liquid acidic color that does not lift, there's no alkalinity. The thing that makes permanent dye permanent is alkalinity. On hair that's been treated, look at, I'm lifting up my hair. My ends have been treated with lightener because I highlight my hair. I never bring permanent dye through my hair. I use Beauty Fusion as a permanent shade on my roots. But on the hair lengths, I refresh with 7.44 Beauty Fusion as an acidic liquid demi. Now, you don't have to do, and the lovely lady who asked the question, if she wants to continue pulling through the permanent dye, that's her professional choice. I would never pull it all the way through the hair. I would never do this, but if I had to, I would pull it about halfway or 2/3 down the hair shaft. And I'd leave it for 5 to 7 minutes, because when you hit it with water and bring it with water on, those ends are going to grab because of the alkalinity. Boom, boom. And if she's a brunette, when I conditioned her after I shampooed her with our beautiful Vieso or Rain Dance shampoo, I would use our Lola chocolate conditioner, roots to ends, 3 minutes. That assures you of color refreshment without goofing up the hair. Now, I know that's what, Annie, it's really I love these Zooms, but when I'm with them all day and we then do a head and they see this, and I have them help me glaze the hair, I have them help me apply the color, they go, oh my goodness, I never saw this before. And so I hope this is helpful. Are we getting any kind of response?
No. Throw something out to you I've never asked you about. It rang my bell. Okay, because the other color we sell, the It's color, they have a clear in that called neutral. Yeah. Okay, just like Beauty Fusion does. A lot of people will mix up their permanent color, do the regrowth, leave a little color in the bowl, squirt in an equal amount of that clear neutral, which is just conditioners, has no ammonia in it or anything. And then use that to pull through the ends. And I know you don't pull through the ends, you don't like to with permanent color, but that kind of dilutes it down. Have you ever tried that with the clear? And
you know what? The answer is yes. And the answer again is, if people feel that's the best way to go, Yes, the clear slightly brings down the alkalinity. It does not bring it all the way down. Remember, Beauty Fusion operates at a pH below 7. So it's acidic. It's conditioning. Permanent dye has to be at a pH of 9.3 or more, or it won't do the hair. So adding that clear does bring down the alkalinity, but we don't quite know how much.
Right.
If a person feels comfortable and says, this is the way I want to do hair, this is their and they can mix the clear in with, by the way, other companies tell them to mix it with 0 volume, which is really 2 volume, Annie, or
Okay.
5 volume. You know what, that bothers me. I'm not going to say what that, if that's, okay, here's what it is. I'm talking to a group of professional people who are successful, and they're interested, or they wouldn't be on our call. If this is the way they can intend to operate, go ahead. You're doing the right thing. If this works for you and your client, I hope to do this to only make it in your mind that if you wanted to change it up a little bit, and if you wanted to engage in color services that are, and remember, Beauty Fusion for 3-ounce bottle is only $7.95. Shades EQ is now $10, $11.
Yeah.
And other brands. So if you use an ounce, what is it, $2 something? And an ounce of Beauty Fusion and an ounce of the 5 volume, what you're telling your client is, we have become the home of conditioning hair color. We are now and you don't have to charge them any different now, you will in the later, but say to them, you know what I want to do is I want to refresh you in a very modern new way that's going to give you a lot of shine, and I'm not charging you any different. No. And it takes just as much work to open the clear, squeeze it in the bowl and mix it, than it does to take an ounce of Beauty Fusion, put it in a bowl or a bottle, throw in an ounce of the oxy milk and pour it on the ends. And with your gloved hands, massage, 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 massage for a few minutes to get all that hair covered. Let her sit there 5 or 7 more minutes, rinse like crazy, shampoo and condition. Ta-da!
Good. I have somebody, wait, I gotta find it again. Somebody who emailed me, but not on the chat.
Oh,
Okay, she said she's looking for your basic formulas. I have that, I can send to her.
thank you. Please do.
I'm new to Beauty Fusion. The colors seem to be darker than what I'm used to. I'm needing help with formulating light, natural looking browns, which I think you already answered kind of today.
Yeah, and I think so. You know what? The beauty. Remember, in Beauty Fusion, the 0.0 or N shades were intended really for gray coverage. They're not just nice neutral shades. You know, I made nice neutral shades with Color Fusion for Redken. I made lovely neutral shades for Logix, for Clairol, and they were gorgeous. And everybody said, they don't cover gray. Sorry, I shouldn't have said it that way. They did cover gray, but they covered gray in a sheer, beautiful way. So when we were making Beauty Fusion, the chemist said, we don't want to hear it doesn't cover gray. So they made our 0.0s, our N shades, about 3/4 of a level darker. So that I mean, to me, a 5.0 is almost like a 3, but it covers. So your person is correct. In any time they want to lighten that brown, they can move into like our the new 8.34. I use 12G all the time. I love 7.1. I love 6.34. That's 6.34, Annie. Even if they're scared and they mix 634 with clear, they're going to get like a dark blondie thing that's quite lovely.
It's one of our top 5 selling colors in Beauty Fusion.
It's like, it's magic. 634 and clear. Yep. So thank you. On your brunettes, try 611 and clear or 634 and clear, and that dark will go away. And thank you for asking. The 0.0s are for gray coverage.
Okay. No,
and there's one more there. Annie, there's just one more formula I want to share from Gretchen, one of our top educators. She had a refresh that she needed to do on a blonde, and she wanted to make the sheerest like neutral sandy blonde. And here's what she mixed in Beauty Fusion on those ends, and it's gorgeous. She mixed a half ounce of 12.0, which is a 12 neutral, a half ounce of 12 gold, and a half ounce of 12S sand. So she used all three level 12s, 0, 0.3, and an S sand, with an ounce and a half of 5 volume oxy milk. The results, she posted them on my, and I hope everybody's on my Facebook group, which is free, Conversations with Top Color Professionals. It's gorgeous. And she uses that. She lives in Ohio, and she has a lot of people who want to be a beautiful, neutral, soft, sandy blonde. By the way, that formula to tone highlights that you've done in the hair, so they're highlighted, and you want to tone those highlights, killer, just killer.
Oh, somebody who couldn't again. If you saw my question earlier about coloring the ends, yeah, Shelly just got on, and she's the one who asked about pulling through the ends. But tell her it is recorded.
Okay, Shelly, we're recording everything, and we gave a big shout out to your concerns. And we also have, I guess Annie's going to put up on Artego, and I put them up every day on my Facebook. We're going to post those formulas. Also in class, Damien and Elisa and I, whenever you're in class, we give out these handouts in class. But now Annie has them for you.
Yes. No more questions yet.
Okay. To use Beauty Fusion as a permanent hair color. When you get Beauty Fusion in that lovely little bottle, and I'm going to walk, I have to be on my phone today, and I apologize because my laptop just went black and the store wouldn't take me yesterday. So I want to explain something that's very confusing to people, and I have to keep repeating it over and over and over and over and over again, okay? And that is what Beauty Fusion is. Now, I've only spoken to one man on Long Island who had never heard of Redken Shades EQ or Rusk Deep Shine or the Liquid Paul Mitchell or Matrix or Schwarzkopf. Everybody seems to have a liquid demi. We do. And this is it. This is Beauty Fusion acidic liquid demi color. Even the bottle is biodegradable, as are all of the pieces of the cartons and the papers. There's a 3-ounce bottle. This is 100% acidic. It's truly conditions as it colors. 1 ounce of this mixed with 1 ounce of 5 volume developer creates an acidic liquid demi formula that cannot lighten the hair. Why? In order for something to lighten the hair, it has to be a pH of 9.3. That's alkaline. This is acidic. But unlike other demis that are older, we contain no alcohol. We contain no PPD. We contain no resorcinol or cocamides. So this is, and it has so many beautiful, the university in Italy even granted us how beautiful and conditioning this is. I burn like fire with even my own brand or any brand. We've all seen women scratch their head. This is very gentle, but it blends gray. It cannot lighten the hair. It tones highlights. It refreshes faded ends, and it does tint backs when it's mixed with 5 volume developer. What changes this from this innocuous, lovely little no lift little is this big bad boy called Booster, and it's not a bad boy. This is cream ammonia, everybody. We do not need ammonia in color to darken it or to tone it or to refresh it or to penetrate and lift and deposit 100% to cover gray. We only use this when we want to turn this into something different. This is Beauty Fusion mixed with 5 volume oxy milk. It's like Shades EQ or Rusk Deep Shine or Paul Mitchell the Liquid or the Schwarzkopf or the shades EQ. That's it. But when we mix it with booster and with 20 volume or 40 volume developer, it becomes permanent hair dye. Do not call me and ask me how to tone hair, how much booster you should put into this. And you know what? After I teach a class for a whole day and I kill myself, and a smart person calls me and says, how much booster do I need on this bleached hair? The answer is none, unless you want to bleach the hair or lighten it. This is the bomb. This is the thing you need to turn this into Miss Clairol or Colestone Perfect or Majorelle or Schwarzkopf Permanent Dye or Beth Minardi or Beauty or Color Fusion. It's already mixed in the tubes of other brands you buy, but you can't use them as demi colors. Now, there are brands that say you can use their cream color and mix it with 5 volume and it becomes a demi. No, it doesn't. It's still alkaline. So when you want to make Beauty Fusion a permanent dye that both lifts and deposits color, and you mix 2 ounces of Beauty Fusion with 2 ounces of 20 volume developer and 2 teaspoons of booster, you have created permanent hair dye. Okay, and that's what you're going to apply to the client's gray roots when she's got gray, and she also wants to lighten the hair that has not yet turned gray. And this behaves just like any other permanent dye you've used. But remember, our 0.0 colors are a little darker because people complained for years about gray coverage. And even though highlighting, blonding, balayage, hair painting, and everything else is popular, the #1 requested service in America is gray coverage.
What happened?
What happened?
I don't know. We got Chuck instead of you.
Oh, okay.
There we go. You're back.
Okay, so Beauty Fusion mixed with its developer, Oxymilk, and booster. Now, some of you are using grams because you were learned the European way. A teaspoon is about 5.5 grams. Okay, so I say a teaspoon and a gram are about the same thing. It's a tiny little bit. A teaspoon or a gram. If you like to weigh color, that's fine. But when all of our handouts, and if you get, and Annie knows this, I rewrote the chapters for Beauty Fusion. When you order Beauty Fusion, chapter 3, is using Beauty Fusion as a permanent dye. So if you would like to use this incredible stuff as a liquid demi, as a demi plus, which we'll get into, and as a permanent dye, which is the chapter, the content of this video, you need to use booster. Okay, there's 2 boosters, booster 1 and booster 2. They're the same pH. However you use them is up to you. One's creamier than the other, but they both work beautifully. And I'm going to tell you the simplest thing for American colorists. 2 ounces of color, 2 ounces of Oxymilk 20 volume, and 2 teaspoons of booster. For high lift blonding, 2 ounces of blonde color, 4 ounces of 40 volume, and 4 teaspoons of the booster. It's 2 ounces of the blonde color, 4 ounces of 40 volume Oxymilk, and 4 teaspoons of the color booster, which is ammonia. Do not ever just apply this to the head with a straight, and do not ever apply this to the head with developer. It's too strong. It's a pH of about almost 13. It's like permanent wave solution, unless it's dissolved into. And here's the easy thing. Put the developer in the bowl first, then add the booster if you're going to use this as permanent dye. The 2 white creamy things mixed together, then add the color, and you have the creamiest cake battery thing in the world. When you just dump the color into the developer and then add the booster, you got a little more lumpy stuff going on there. The colors are brilliant and beautiful. Make sure when you get your order, and I know that Beecher in every order packs chapters 1, 2, and 3 in paper into these. Your Beecher salesperson, Kathy, Kaylin, Debbie, Alan, Annie, whoever, and also Damien Devine, Sebastian, and Elisa also have chapters 1, 2, and 3. And they're happy to send them to you. You can get them, we can download them online. And many people like that. However, some people say, look, can I please have it in paper? And we will mail them to you, US mail, you'll get, or whatever, and you'll get them. But they are also, when you open your box from Beecher, please look inside the box. These are little 3 white booklets. Chapter 1 is how to use our color, Beauty Fusion, as a liquid acidic demi color to tone hair, to tone blonde, to refresh faded hair, and to do tint backs. Chapter 2 is how to use a little bit of booster in with Beauty Fusion and 5-volume Oxy Milk to turn it into Wella Color Touch or Richesse by L'Oreal or another demi cream color. And chapter 3 is how to use Beauty Fusion as a permanent hair color. You can always call me, and many of you do. You can always come to me on Beth Minardi. My Facebook group page is a long name. I think it's a too long name, but it's free. Conversations with Top Color Professionals by Beth Minardi. 15,000 people now follow me on my website and on my 2 Facebook pages every day. And I answer you every day. And if you call Elisa, Sebastian, Damien, or any of the Beecher salespeople, they will guide you for help. You're not alone. My job is 100% education. And I'm happy to say I'm coming to Sarasota, Florida in January. Sign up, it's filling fast. In February, we will be in Arlington, Texas, which is part of Dallas. In March, we will be in Detroit, in Birmingham, which is a very chic part of Detroit. And we're hopefully also going to be in Connecticut, but I'm still confirming that. In April, we're going to be in Chicago before ABS, so you don't have to go into that big show, get lost, and never find me like last year. And we're only taking 30 people. We're at a salon called Epoch Salon in central Chicago in April, on April 8th. And in June, I'm in Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm somewhere else in May. I'm all over the place, and Annie can send those to you, and I'm putting them, all the dates up on my Facebook. You can, and there is a tuition, but you get a diploma, a lunch, and you're with me all day. And we do models, you participate, and the day is yours. The day is not mine. The day is yours. This weekend, I still have a couple seats. I am in Flanders, New Jersey, which is in northern New Jersey. So we're busy. And
we have a question. Chuck Moody would love to have some crossovers from, I presume BMSS is Beth Minardi's color, to Beauty Fusion.
Hi, Chucky. Well, my BB shades, which were the balanced browns, those were my neutrals. And the balance BB meant balanced brown, balanced blonde. So if you were using a Beth Minardi neutral balance shade, back off about a level and a level, because mine are more on the neutrals in Beauty Fusion are deeper. In Beauty Fusion, I would tell you that on porous hair, a 3.0 Beauty Fusion looks black to an American person. I mean, it is dark. So if I wanted to create a really rich medium to dark brown on gray, I would use a level 5.
Okay.
7.44 looks like my 6 copper, 6cc.
All right, somebody says Susan Leroy says she loves 8.523.
Oh, 8.523 is one of our new ones, Susan. Yeah, and it's a great color. It's a light brunette, but it's rich. It looks like a level 4, and it has a brown almost violet mahogany to it. It's a beautiful shade of brown. It's like, and it's not as dark as something we would call plum brown, but it's a very sophisticated, bitchy brunette, fabulous chocolato brown shade. So 5.832 on the roots is great. And I would refresh that with, I would say 634, an ounce and a half ounce of 5.3. Thanks, Susan.
All right, and somebody else says, are you coming back? Oh, it's Susan again, coming back to Bend, Oregon.
I'm coming back to Bend, Oregon for a university. This is going to be my first university class. Here's how special this is, Susan. It is open only to those colorists who can do the following. Can you mix and apply bleach? Do you know how to use acidic liquid demi-color? Do you know how to use permanent hair color? Do you know how to use cream demi hair color? Do you know how to wrap hair in foil or mesh? Do you know how to paint hair? That class is only open to 16 advanced individuals, March 11th in Bend at the beautiful Jasba Salon. We will open the day with my lecture and a beautiful breakfast with assorted pastries, juices, and coffee. We will then lecture and we will split into 8 groups of 2 people. The consultation you and your partner will do on your model is not a consultation. I hate that word. It's the pre-service interview. It gets into her lifestyle, her health issues, her income level, not asking it that way. How often is she able to be in the salon? What does she like about her permanent color? What does she dislike about her permanent color? What does she plan to do? What is her hairstyle? How does color accent that hairstyle? What about her eyebrows? Everything. We're going to take you and your partner are then going to complete a form, which I will review with you, and there will be 7 other groups in the room. You will be working with your partner. Step by step, I will be with you all through the day. If the hair needs to be cut, it will be cut first. Why? Color accents the line of the haircut. Okay? We are going to be using Beauty Fusion. We're going to be using Lola. We're going to be using a little bit of its color. You are going to bring with you a couple of your favorite shades, and we're going to mix them up like dominoes on the table. You can use what you want to on this head, but I will guide you every step of the way. We will break for a lovely lunch. You will continue, and we will have more lecture and more into the very deep chemistry of color. At the end of the day, you will present your model with exactly what you did to the model. We will celebrate with a wine and cheese party, photo ops, and it's a day dedicated to only 16 people. So that will be up, and you will have Beauty Fusion and Lola gifts to take home, as well as our Vieso and Rain Dance products. So that's the day. Susan, I love that you came to our last class. University level, 16 people.
Great. No more questions. Anybody? Last questions to go? No way.
Okay. Well, I think we've been on for about 45 minutes, right, Anne?
Yeah, even with all our technical difficulties of both of us.
Oh, and I have to, you know what, and Justin, I have to hand it to you helping me. This girl, Shelley, says, I am so confused how to formulate correctly. If you are saying that it is numbered an 8, would it look like a 4?
Yeah.
No. A level 8 hair color is 80% lift and 20% deposit. It is a light blonde shade. It will turn blonde, white gray hair to a level 8. But let's supposing I think that I'm going to make a light blonde shade by applying it to medium brown hair, which is level 3. Medium brown hair is level 3. I apply a level 8 formula. So the hair is a 3. I apply an 8. Certainly, I do not think I'm going to get an 8. 8 is 80% lift and 20% deposit. A level 8 means it covers gray hair to level 8. I'm applying a level 8 to level 3 hair. I take level 3, medium brown, plus level 8, which comes to 11, divided by 2. I am 8 11 divided by 2 is 5.5. My final level will be between level 5 and level 6. And if it's brown hair, it will look like macaroni and cheese orange. I think you remember you never use permanent color. If someone is coming to you for, okay, we already answered that one. This helps. I hope this is recorded because I missed everything. Yes. Not sure what happened, or if you saw my question earlier about coloring the ends. Yes. Would love some crossovers from Beauty Fusion. Chucky, you and I should talk on the phone. It'll take 30 minutes. Happy to help you. Love that. Yes, 8.523 is an amazing shade. Coming back to Bend, Oregon. Yes, I'm confused on 8.5 looking like a 4. No, 8.5 is not a 4. I would reuse that in a liquid demi, no lift, to refresh very faded level 4 hair lengths. I don't understand. No, it won't look like a 4. What I'm saying is here, when you are refreshing faded hair lengths with an acidic liquid demi color, do not say, well, the roots are a 4. I'll use a 4 to refresh this. Use a color 1, 2, 3, or 4 levels lighter than that root. Then you'll refresh the hair by putting color back in without making the hair go too dark.
All right, somebody wants to know a comparison to Joico 6RC, which I presume.
Well, you know, I used to represent Joico very happily, and Joico manufactured my brand, Beth Minardi, and then they turned it into LumaShine. So I don't even know if Joico 6RC exists anymore. And I think that a wonderful Joico representative can help them better than I.
Okay.
I would say that if you used Beauty Fusion, 1.5 ounces of 7.44 and 1/2 ounce of 5.6 in Beauty Fusion, 7.44 and 5.6, you'll be pretty close.
Okay. Justin says we should wrap it up. We've used up our time.
Okay, bye. Justin, I love you. Thank you. Annie, thanks for a great morning. I hope to see everybody in class, and stay tuned, everybody. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.